I am not prepared to accept a system that is miserable for people. Those are the words of Liz Kendall this afternoon, just now in the House of Commons. She is talking about disability benefits. What's going to change? Let's get straight into that. So first up, we're going to talk about PIP. This is the Personal Independence Payment. And the idea of PIP is that if you need help doing stuff, whether that's getting about or eating food at home, you can get a personal independence payment and it gives you the money to support you to do that. It's not means tested, which means anyone can get it. If you need the help, the government are going to give it to you. And there was talk that this government's plan was to freeze it. They're not going to do that. They're not freezing it. They're not means testing it. But, and it's a big but, they are going to make it harder to claim. They are going to pull billions out of the PIP system by making it trickier. A 4-point score is required in the daily living activities, not the getting about activities, that's still a bit easier, but the daily living activities, which means things like you need assistance to wash your body, you need someone to help you manage going to the loo, or you're in incontinence or something like that. You'll have noticed those are all pretty physical issues. In the House of Commons, when Labour MPs were responding to this statement from Labour's Liz Kendall, a lot of them were saying, where do people with mental health issues fit into that? Are they going to score 4 points? Really? A lot of people with mental health issues have serious barriers, but they can all wash themselves. So are we talking about people whose barriers aren't physical being unable to access PIP in the future? It's hard to say. Once upon a time, the Conservatives passed a law that said, let's get PIP done. So rather than giving people PIP, we will install a ramp. And they would give them vouchers to get specific things to make sure that PIP was being spent on those things. That system is now gone. There is going to be a review into PIP closely done with the disabled community. If there was really going to be a review into PIP closely done with the disabled community, wouldn't that have happened before this launch? Okay, so we've also got universal credit. If you are unable to work, if you have a disability, you get a little bit of extra on top of your universal credit. It's called the health top-up. One of the changes they've made is that you're not going to get this health top-up until you are 22. The reason she gave for this is you should be in education, employment, or training. I know there's this period when you're between 18 and 22, right? Training's tricky between 18 and 22. Like, unless you're going to university, like most apprenticeships don't go up to 21. They're going to start at 22 to really try and make sure that you've really given work a go before you can go onto it. They're also going to make it slightly harder to get, which is because there will be a duty expected of you to engage with work coaches, to engage with the job centre if you're getting this top up. You need to show that you're actively trying to find the work that you can do rather than just sitting at home as they might think of it. Now, a Conservative MP stood up and asked Liz Kendall just now in the House of Commons, he said, what happens if they don't? Sanctioning people on benefits is a really hard thing to do. But these are things that will come out in the wash, I suppose. We've got to talk about why this has all happened. I mean, she does say she will not accept a system that is miserable for people. There is some reform going on to help people out of disability and reliance on benefits, right? She believes in work. She believes that a lot of people with a lot of mental health conditions, she was naming them in the House of Commons, she believes that it matters and that if you go to work, you have more skin in the game, you have more purpose, you have more direction. It's good for people mentally. It can be good for people physically to get out the house as well, if that's possible. So there is real, genuine care. She said that mental health claims have gone up by 150%. It's a lot. But then she also said that learning disabilities had gone up by 400% in applications for benefits. And that is a lot. But also, we're just so much better at recognizing it now. We are diagnosing more people with mental health conditions. Wes Streeting said we're over-diagnosing. I don't know whether that's true, but this is the point. The government is saying we have to reform the system. We have to reform the system for these people. But they're also saying we have to reform the system because it's well expensive. The measures announced today appear to have taken £5 billion off the benefits bill. Eventually, because it all takes forever to happen, but £5 billion. And where people are cross, they are saying, hang on, you've just taken £5 billion from the most vulnerable people in society. Of course, the government respond, no, we've restructured a system that's made it better for people and saves money. And that's a good thing to do. As of today, this is something called a green paper. And the good news, lovely people, is that you, yes, you can have your say. Woohoo! Go to the Department for Work and Pensions website, Google it. You'll find the consultation document on there. I've already had a look. It's pretty exciting. And you've got until the 30th of June. So on the 30th of June, the consultation closes. If you haven't done it by then, you've only got yourself to blame, to be fair. Don't expect much to change. Anything. Some small bits might change. Over the summer, Department of Work and Pensions, they don't get much summer holiday over there. Not the Department of Work and Pensions. They're all busy with their computers doing their thing. And then in September, probably, almost certainly September, we'll get the bill. And that'll be really clear as to what's going to happen. That will have its second reading, its first debate in the House of Commons, let's say September. Then they'll all have their conferences. Then they'll come back in October. Bit of time in committee. It'll finish there in October. Let's say it's in the House of Lords in November. Do you like November? Let's say November. Done. Just before Christmas, they'll do some ping pong, which is when it goes between the two chambers. Then it'll become law. January, probably. A lot of the changes are due to take place next April, anywhere at the beginning of that financial year. Okay, right. So that's all the chat. But one thing for the politics fans out there is watching Labour on Labour anger. There are a lot of Labour MPs out there who do not like what is going on. Clive Lewis, Clive Efford were both in the chamber laying into it. We need to keep an eye on this. We need to keep an eye on the Labour left and how they feel within the party. Liz Kendall got 4.5% when she ran against Jeremy Corbyn to be leader of the Labour Party. 7 years on, Liz Kendall's setting the agenda and Jeremy Corbyn's not even in the party.